Facing G, chapter 2 to 10. So within these couple of chapters, pretty much what happens is one of the gods comes down, and the god comes down and they take on the emperor, Emperor Zhu. So Zhu gets one-shotted through like a pillar, and we see like the gods came down on this dragon, this epic dragon. That dragon was just crazy, and I'm gonna mention that dragon later on because the size of the dragon was crazy. So we pretty much from chapters 2 to 4 or 2 to 5, we get this big battle royale between one of the gods and the emperor, and then we get this cutscene where the head god, or the almighty god in Feng G, this god is talking to one of his advisors, and she's telling him that the Emperor Zhu, he's the one that is going to get stronger in the future and take out the king, or take out the god, the king god, the highest one. And he pretty much gets fed up, and he was like, alright, I gotta take him out now. So he goes down and he comes out the dragon's mouth. Now, I'm pretty sure he was coming out the dragon's mouth. Now, is the dragon's mouth where they live? Because it looked like they were in a cave, but he walked out the dragon's mouth. The dragon started to yell, or maybe it's like a portal thing. The dragon starts to scream. Everyone's pretty much getting dizzy. There's an earthquake, and then we see, the head god comes out the dragon's mouth. So pretty much a slaughter fest. The head god comes down. His aura is too strong. Even Zai, Zu's brother, the dude with the white hair, he can't even do anything about it. He takes on one of the other gods who, in a few chapters later, we see that god walking with him. I don't know where he's taking him or whatsoever. I think it's chapter 8 in Feng G. But there pretty much was a battle royale. The head god comes down and he takes on the emperor. Now the emperor has on this cloth called the phoenix cloth, and pretty much the phoenix dies and gets reborn again. So he takes on a cloak, and he pretty much fight the head god, and obviously the head god was way too strong, and he takes him out. Now, a couple key things. We also find out that the emperor's wife was a god herself, and she fell in love with him. She left her status as a god, came down. We later on find out that she does have siblings. She has sisters. Even her sisters don't know where she is. She came down. She left her god status. Even her son didn't know that she was a god. Wu Jing, he didn't even know that she was a god. So she is a god, and the emperor had on the phoenix cloth, was passed down from generation to generation. That cloak was able to help them take on gods in the past, and that's what the emperor used in order to take on the lower ranking gods and the head god. So later on, after this big war and this big battle royale, pretty much Shen gets taken out. Wu becomes not Wu the son, but Wu the rival, the dude that was supposed to take down Shen, or Zhu Ge. He pretty much becomes the leader of the world, and a couple chapters later we see that Wu Jing, he pretty much died with his mom, but his mom made a sacrifice, and she sacrificed herself, and he came back to life. So on some kite stuff, if you watch Hunter x Hunter, he pretty much her son pulled a kite. So he comes back as a slave. He comes back as a slave, and now he's missing an eye. It just so happens to be the slave that he stabbed in the eye back then, I think. So it's that slave. He comes back as a slave, and now we're getting into the arc of the Northern Mountains arc. And pretty much he becomes a slave. He's in the mountains, and he's meeting new people. He met his wife, and pretty much right now they've been pretty much surviving and going forward and trying to take on these tasks within the mountain. They became slaves. The head dude, he's acting kind of chill, but at the same time we know he's only doing it to please the gods and to keep the slaves calm and work hard. And he says he's gonna give them all kinds of rewards, all that shit. And then we meet the head guy in charge of the slave occupation thing. His son is pretty much like this ruthless brat, and we got to this point where Wu Jing, who is now known as Ao Gu. He is now pretty much a slave, like I said, and he killed one of the head slaves that are in charge of all the other slaves. He killed him, and around chapter 9 through 10, we see that the leader, he gets information about the killing, and he was like, well, I was gonna let you go by taking an arm and cutting out your tongue, but instead I'll let you fight one of the beasts that was sent to me by another civilization, another royal place. So right now, Ao Gu has to take on a beast, and in that chapter we found out that the beast is known as Bigfoot. They're these mythical beasts that live within the forest, and within that forest, you know, they're hard to tame, but when you do tame them, they become good slaves. But this Bigfoot just so happens to not be tamed. So now, because of what Ao Gu did to the head slave, head slave that was in charge of all the other slaves, because of what he did to him, he has to now pay the price. So him, his wife, and two other people that he was shacking up with, not shacking up, but the two other people that he was with in the mines, because they're mining as slaves in the mountains. So the two other dudes that he met in the mines, they're pretty much in the same boat as him, and now they're gonna have to fight the Bigfoot, and that's pretty much what happens between chapters 2 and 10, which is epic. So if you haven't seen Feng Shen Ji, please go check it out. I'll leave the link down below in the description box. Go check out Feng Shen Ji, catch up to chapter 10, and later on in the week I'll release, you know, other chapters, other videos. So you guys go ahead and catch up to Feng Shen Ji. Chapters 11 through 20 review is going to be out on Friday, so I'll give you plenty of time to catch up to chapter 10. So go ahead, guys. I'm Edman. Leave your comments down below if you already caught up to the series, or if you know, caught up to these chapters. Leave your comments down below.